This is Cale Clark with the Faith Explained Institute, thefaithexplained.com. Just want to talk to you about today's readings from this Tuesday of the fifth week of Lent. The first reading is from the book of Numbers, and it talks about the journey of the Israelites through the wilderness to the Promised Land, a very famous incident in which they grumbled and complained against Moses, saying stuff like, "Why have you brought us up from Egypt to die in this desert where there is no food or water? We're all disgusted with this wretched food." And so the Lord actually sent a little punishment on the Israelites. They were bitten by these poisonous snakes. But God said to Moses, if you make a bronze serpent and put it on a pole and lift it up, when the people look at it, they will be healed of these bites. And that's exactly what happened. Jesus refers to this in today's gospel reading from John chapter 8. And here's what he says. Jesus says, when you lift up the Son of Man, then you will realize that I am. And that's really a reference to not only his divinity. When he says, I am, he takes the name of God upon his lips. He says, I'm God, essentially. He talks about his being lifted up. And of course, that refers to the cross. We know that when we look at Jesus lifted up on the cross, we too are healed. And not only are we healed of our sin through Jesus' cross, his death, his resurrection, but we're also healed of our bitterness. And we can really be cheerful and joyful, even in the midst of trials, even in the midst of something like a pandemic, like we're all going through. So no matter how this has touched your life, perhaps you've even suffered the death of a loved one during this trial, know that Jesus also said this later on in John's Gospel, in chapter 16. He says, in this world, you will have tribulation. He's very much a realist, but he says, take heart, for I have overcome the world. We always look towards Easter to the resurrection for our hope. And I hope that this has given you some comfort in these very difficult times that we're going through. For The Faith Explained, I'm Cale Clark.